What's up? How are you?
You know, I think the more I look, I need to get like an eye job. My eyelids closing my eye. I look like a fighter, like a punch-drunk fighter. I think I got
Is that how you feel?
Little plastic surgery, I think.
Really?
Little plastic surgery. Look at it. Look at this. You know? What do you think?
You just did something really weird. What did you do there? That's scary, Steve.
Today we got...
Don't do that anymore, please.
We continue on with the last 9 episodes. Our favorite, like you call it, our all-star guests. Some of our favorites. And today is one of our favorite guests and a very close friend of both of ours. You go ahead and introduce this gentleman.
Well, I know John, really, I know John almost 4 decades, close to 4 decades. I mean, we spoke about our history in the first time he came on, but we met at the Lee Strasberg Institute in 1983. Wow. It's a long time ago, man. I was 17 years old when I met John. He was, I guess, like 19. And we did a lot of stuff together before The Sopranos. A lot of theater, a lot of independent movies, studied together. But John was born in, it says Queens. I thought he was born in Brooklyn, but born in Queens. We'll ask him that. He's been in over 100 movies and TV shows.
Wow.
Including 2 that we starred in together, 3 that we starred in together, all done by Bruno D'Almeida, On the Run, Lovebirds, and Cabaret Maxime. We were in Postcards from America together. I shot Andy Warhol. We've done a lot of stuff. Trees Lounge, The Hungry Ghost, which I directed and you starred in. He was in Bullets Over Broadway. He's been on The Good Wife. He's been on Blue Bloods. He's also a great painter and has been as long as I know him, and musician as long as I know him, and before. And appeared in 36 episodes of The Sopranos as Artie Bucco. Please welcome the one and only John Ventimiglia.
How are you? Good to see you.
All right.
Now, like a day like today, what are they? You're having a big macaroni, the schmeal. You got everybody over. What's happening?
Well, they decided they want to go out. They're going to go to an Italian restaurant. Then
okay.
Little Ferry or something like that.
Because you're a good cook.
Yeah, I haven't been cooking much lately. When my kids lived with me, I used to cook a lot. You know, I used to cook for them.
Yeah.
But again, I can cook. I can make a pasta.
Nice.
You know, cook a steak.
Now we're talking about the last season, season 7. How did it feel? You know, me and Michael talked about it, how it was for us. How did it feel for you? This was it. We were going to do 9 more and out. How did that feel? You remember that feeling?
I do. I remember thinking, why are we stopping? You know, I wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
It seemed, you know, we had a big break. Was that before the last season? I remember there was that whole big time that we weren't shooting.
It wasn't the big one. We had one that was almost
a year and a half.
Right. And then
that was between 4 and 5, I think.
Oh,
or 3 and 4. Yeah.
But between 6 and 7 was how long, Michael? 6 months.
6 and 7. It was like 9 months, I think.
9 months.
Yeah, that was a long time. And then all of a sudden, you know, this is going to be it. And you know, I wasn't really ready to let go yet. You know, I loved showing up and going to work in there and being with all you guys, and it seemed kind of sudden.
Yeah, but I think it was David, if I'm not mistaken, and Jim. They had enough.
Yeah, they had enough. That's what I understand. And also, it was very truncated. Every season got shorter, it seemed like, every year. So this last one is, 6 episodes or 7 episodes?
No, it's 9 episodes, but it took 9 months to shoot them.
It's 9? Yeah.
Right? We were up to like 17, 18 shooting days.
Right.
Remember that? That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Unheard of, actually.
It used to be a week, right? And it got longer and longer as time went by.
It's like 10 days, I think.
Yeah, 10 days. That's what it started out. Yeah, 10 days.
8, 9 days, I think. And then it got bigger and bigger. And they were, you know what the funny thing is that I remember? like even though they were more days, it was still the same amount of long hours. The hours didn't get shorter. It wasn't like, we're going to do 8-hour days for 18 days.
And in those days, it still took a long time to shoot things.
Yeah.
You know, like I do work on things now. They're like, I don't know. It's just, I guess the technology, the cameras, whatever, it's just quicker now.
Well, they shot on film on The Sopranos.
They shot on film. That's right.
They don't shoot on film anymore. Although we shot Cabaret Maxime on film, which
shot is Cabaret Maxime, and it looks it. It looks it.
It looks it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, no matter how many days we got, we still worked crazy long hours. It didn't matter.
Crazy.
Right.
It still was 16-hour days. 16 hours almost always. Long days, man.
Yeah. And I remember like getting called in sometimes like early and not getting to me until night. You know, that happened. You know, that happened.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened a lot there. Things change. So you just, you got to hang around. That's how it goes. But the one thing that this show did that no one else did was, we would shoot X amount of episodes. And then there would be, do you remember like a break? And then they would add scenes, delete scenes, clean stuff up, I don't
remember that happening with my character very much, but I might have forgotten. It's a long time ago.
You remember the commercial we shot for Vuvio?
That was hilarious, man. Couldn't stop laughing hearing it.
We gotta find that somewhere.
I know, where is that fucking thing, man?
So it's Johnny as Artie and
Drea, right?
Drea is Adriana, and I directed it for the HBO website. We did a commercial for Vesuvio. It was maybe the funniest thing I've ever done. I've ever been involved in my entire life. I never ever laughed that hard.
Did you write it too?
No, I directed it. I think David wrote it.
I don't even remember what the hell it was about. It was about the restaurant, right? He's like,
it was a commercial. It was literally a commercial for Vesuvio that Artie did himself. So it was as if Artie was doing something for local TV.
Right.
You need to find that. You need to call HBO.
We got to find it. It was the funniest thing I've ever been involved in.
So hard when we were doing that. We couldn't stop laughing. We couldn't keep a straight face, right?
No, it took forever.
And Drea, though, she was the hostess, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. We got to find that. Somebody out there has got to know where that thing is, right?
It was one of the funniest things it was just ridiculous.
I remember I had it on VHS.
Yeah, me too.
At the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have it somewhere.
That was insane. Yeah.
Johnny, you were there at the pilot.
Yeah.
And you weren't in the last episode. Your last episode was...
I was hardly in the last season at all. I think it was I was in the Blue Comet.
Comet. That was the next to last one. But you were there from the very beginning. How did things change from shooting the pilot all the way till the end?
The show became so huge. It that affects the atmosphere, I guess, around it. On the pilot, I made up some of my own lines.
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yeah, I said, I said a spurt, not a splash, or something like that.
That was you.
Yeah, that was mine.
I thought that might have been true because I was like, when we did that episode on the podcast, I was like, I think I brought that up, Steve. I said, was that a Johnny V?
Yeah.
It sounded so much like your improvisational kind of vibe that I was like.
What I used to do all the time, like even on other shows. I would sometimes just throw in a line and make something up. And usually it's okay, David let me get away with it a couple of times in the pilot. But as soon as the show hit, they were like, no, you said, but it's supposed to be, and, or like you do not mess with one word on that show. It's just not, it's not done, but at the beginning, things were a little bit looser because we were all getting to know each other and we figured things out.
Well, David was around a lot more, right? At the beginning, the first season, which I wasn't, he was around because, there came a time where he was so busy that you didn't see him for a while.
I mean, he was on set. I remember the restaurant scene when it's raining he didn't. I don't think he directed that one, but he just was hanging out all night. Like we were talking and laughing, just getting to know each other. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed being around. I think a lot of the action, but it got to be a lot on him. I'm sure. I remember one time when he took me to his office and he said, watch these clips of these Italian guys using their hands. And he was crying with laughter. He loved that shit. He loved it. He loved sharing that kind of stuff.
You did a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why he brought me, because he said,
what was that one that he does? We got chicken.
What?
We have duck or chicken. What's that?
I don't know.
You flap.
And the one he says, Meadow is going into constitutional law. And he goes, what the fuck does that mean? And Sylvia, me and fucking Stevie Van Zandt too. He really would crack up at some of this shit at the table, like Holy Cross and, Broaden Your Horizons and shit like that.
You did this thing with the big pepper mill like this, like you were slapping it when you were at the table.
Yeah. I had that table scraper thing, that was my idea. So give me one of those things. Give me something.
The table crummer, yeah.
Yeah, the table crummer, yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of fun, man. I mean, those were the days. I mean, we cracked each other up. Fucking smoking.
We had a lot of fucking laughs. Probably way too many laughs than we should have. Jesus Christ. Remember when we knocked on, it was the Emmys?
Yeah.
Something went south. Something went south. It's 2 p.m. It's 100 degrees.
Yeah.
We go see Michael because you're like the Godfather. So me and Johnny go knock on your door. Maybe I called you first. You said, come down.
Yeah.
You got fucking cognac. Sunglasses
inside, yeah.
Where, in the hotel suite?
In the peninsula. And then I told you, I had said something. And Johnny, the person was behind me. and then I saw the person get up. I said, Johnny, you didn't fucking tell me. They're right behind me. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Fucking tell me. They're sitting right there.
And I was in a panic mode. And I think I texted you, come down. Michael said, all right, tell me what happened. Explain what happened. And you said you reassured me, whether you didn't know nothing. You went, it's gonna be okay, but just the glasses, the cognac, the heat.
Very calm, very cool. Also
very calm.
When we were freaking out about that person that was sitting right behind you, we got up, we were like, we gotta get out of here, right?
Yeah.
And then I think we got on the elevator with the person, right? We were just fucked. I
was in a funk. I went back to my room. That's it. I'm done.
Done. You said I was finished.
But we had so many laughs being on the road, and we've talked about the appearances, and there's so many places that we could go on and on. What was your best memory from your time on the show, John?
God,
I know there's a lot.
Many. I mean, there's so many. And, hanging out with you guys, some of the appearances, I mean, it was just hard to believe that people gave that they cared about us that much, that they wanted us to see us in places, Yeah. And that we all got to do it together. I mean, every day on the set was a joy for me. I mean, there's scenes that I guess kind of stick out, like the food fight, with Tony, or, with, I get, me and Michael, we got to work together with when I got to mess up your hair a little bit, That
was a good scene.
That's a memorable one.
Emmy fucking slapped me and choked me and kissed me and roughed me up pretty good. But I loved it. I loved it all.
Yeah, going to work never seemed like going to work, right, Michael? Like Michael said, it was like going to hang out with your friends on the corner,
Exactly. It was like going to hang out with your friends. And then, who am I with most of the time? It's, me and Jimmy, and we had fucking a blast together too,
Yeah.
I didn't really get to hang, except when all the guys were in, at the restaurant. I got to be around them and, interact with them and stuff. But most of the stuff with Charmaine and Tony. And but it always felt inventive. It never felt like a strain. It never felt like pressure. You know, sometimes you'd have a director that'd say, do an Artie thing. Do something that Artie would do. And I don't know. If it comes to me, I'll do it. I mean,
that's a stupid fucking.
You know, you get that once in a while. You know, I was thinking about John Patterson. Passed away, but before the final season, right?
Oh yeah, I think he passed away season 4. Is that right, Steve?
Really? I think later than that.
You know, we had great directors, and he was one of them. I loved John Patterson, and me. What a cool cat, man.
Yeah, he was awesome.
That was one of Michael's favorites. I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
You know, I had a director who shall remain nameless, who said, you know, the same thing. You know, come on, do bacala. It was like early on, what, shrug my shoulders? What?
Right.
Do bacala. Come on, be more like bacala. Okay.
You had the stomach at the beginning, and then they said, what are we doing with this?
What are we doing? He's fat enough. How fat you want to make him?
Big guy, man. You're a big dude. You know, I just was watching Blue Comet, and, you know, I haven't seen that episode since, I think we saw it either at the premiere or I don't know where. We saw it on screen somewhere, I think. Maybe I'm mistaken, but
no, I don't think so.
The fucking violence of how he got it, man, that was tough.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good kill, you know.
It was a good fucking kill, man. That was heavy. There was a lot of heavy shit going on in those last couple of shit to wrap up.
What do you remember shooting your last scene?
Well, my last scene, I think, was you know, in the restaurant with Carmela and Tony and Charmaine, when they're talking about Meadow's not going to be a doctor. She's going to go into constitutional law. But that was pretty much all I had all season. And, you know, I don't remember it being like goodbye or, you know, or anything like that. It just was done and move on to the next thing, you know?
You didn't have the big, what do you think? What do you think? You think Tony Soprano's alive or dead?
Oh, he's dead. He got it, man. With that blackout, to me, that's what happens. You get shot in the head, lights out, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think I agree with you.
I'm in the minority for sure. I think he's alive.
And so much killing was going on. I mean, Phil fucking got it. Silvio got it. You got it. I mean, it was frightening. It was heavy. Yeah. And they were after him, man.
Well, Michael said that the whole season, it got really dark. Tony got really dark at the end.
Yeah, really dark. And AJ, I mean, heavy shit going on. You know, when he had to pack up and when he tells Carmela, like, go to the house, you know, Bobby's dead. Fucking when he tells AJ, your Uncle Bobby's dead. And Robert, you know, starts, I don't know what to do. When he grabs him and throws him on the floor and pack a fucking bag. I mean, heavy shit, man. That was dark shit. And you felt fear. This is real. It got real now.
Yeah. It got real.
What
did you think when you saw the finale for the first time?
Yeah, I loved it.
What did you think of it? You loved it.
I thought it was brilliant. And I remember me and you, we saw it in Florida, right? At an appearance at the Hard Rock.
Yes.
I remember some cast members being pissed off. Like, what the fuck is this shit? What the fuck is this? You know, I remember me and you sitting. Steve, I don't remember.
Michael loved it. I was confused, even though I remember Michael. I remember Jim confused.
Yeah.
I remember Jim confused.
Stevie was pissed off.
I just seen a picture, you know, in our new book, we have a picture of that day.
Oh, in Florida?
I must have been drinking for fucking hours. You're Johnny, you're basically laying down on the couch.
Yeah. You mean the picture of us on the stage?
Oh, I got to get this. Hold on.
You know, because we did an appearance the night before in Foxwoods. And then we flew
Right.
on a private plane
That's
to
right.
Florida.
That's right.
So we were already kind of banged up before we even got there.
From the night before, yeah, Foxwoods.
Yeah, you know, that finale had that amazing sequence with the Dylan song, It's All Right, Ma. That's really blew my mind.
It's all right, Ma. I mean, it's so David, but you didn't expect it, you know? And
Yeah.
Here's the picture. Here's the picture. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's what my feet are crossed on the couch.
Look.
Yeah.
I'm all fucked up there. Michael's
Johnny's meditating. He's in the lotus position.
I mean, yeah.
Look at Arthur. Arthur doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
This is from our book. I got a copy for you, Johnny.
Beautiful.
There's a picture.
Our new book, me and Michael.
Show him the picture with Peter and Seymour. There's a picture of me, you, Steve, Nikki, with Peter, Falk, and Seymour Cassell in the book.
No shit, in L.A.?
It was from the SAG Award.
I think it was L.A., right?
Great.
That was L.A.
Yeah.
That's when, you introduced me to Peter.
See that?
Look at that.
Look at us.
Nikki.
That's I'm going to put that on fucking Instagram. But Peter Falk.
I have to say, Johnny, you haven't lost any more hair since I've seen you.
I know. I'm in Arrested
You
Development.
look exactly the same.
Crazy. I know. People say to me, the fucking show was 20 years ago. What have you been doing to yourself? Nothing. Same thing I've always done.
You look good. You have a show out, a show coming up on Stars. What's the name of that?
Oh, yeah, that's called Gaslit. It's it's the Watergate hearings. So I was the judge. The judge.
That's with Sean Penn and a great cast, right?
Cast, yeah. Shea Wiggum. He's fantastic.
He's good. Yeah, he's good.
What do you why do you think the show's enjoyed so much success over all these years?
You know, that's always an amazing kind of question because, you know, I think people are really attracted to people that make their own rules or have their own society, have their own, power that way. But I think straight off the bat, it was Jimmy that really grabbed everybody. He's a dangerous guy, but you're attracted to him. And I mean, it's an amazing cast, and people love mob shit. I mean, look at Goodfellas, look at Godfather. Any of those things. They have their own rules. They make their own rules, and they're colorful characters. You fucking Paulie Walnuts and Silvio and Christopher. I mean, Artie. I mean, it's rich with characters, and they knew how to bring those right for them, and knew how to bring it out. And Jesus Christ, you got fucking Edie Falco acting her ass off. She's amazing. I mean, Lorraine. I mean, everybody was great, and even in those last couple episodes, when they start bringing in some of these other guys that weren't around so much earlier, I couldn't stop watching.
Absolutely. Frank Vincent was great in the series. He was great. He did his best work ever, like Michael said. I mean, Frank was just terrific. Everybody. I mean,
you saw the FBI. I can't remember.
Matt Savito.
Vito, yeah. It's like him and his character and Tony almost started like looking like each other at a certain point. There's one shot where they're both just looking at each other, and it's like, wait a minute, is he fucking turning into a kind of Tony himself? Like, what's happening here?
Now that's interesting. Yeah.
I don't watch the show very often. My daughter Odell got me kind of back into it when she started watching it years ago, when she was like 13 or 14. She was crazy about the show. And, and I started, and I watched a few with her, and it's always so fresh, and it always brings back such great memories. And I'm always surprised at how good it is, how good of a show it is. Because I didn't really watch it every Sunday. At the beginning, I did, for you, I had a big episode. I watched it. If you missed a Sunday, it wasn't until it came out on VHF or in the box set or whatever, you got to watch it again. Back in those days,
Yeah.
Sunday was a big deal.
Now to binge it must be a lot of fun, to watch 4 or 5 in a row. Just
I've done it. Yeah.
mix out. Michael, like you said, that we were banged up down in Florida. That on the Friday, I was with Jim in Atlantic City. Then Foxwoods, and we were up very, very late.
Right.
Then we got to Florida. This was an afternoon gig. Then that Monday, we did something. I think Danny DeVito opened a new restaurant.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I didn't make it to that. I was done by then.
You were gone by then? Oh, really?
Wow, I went home.
I
had a
hurt
house.
myself, man. I hurt myself there.
Yeah. That was in Florida too, right? When we met up.
That hurt myself. Remember, Danny DeVito came over to the table.
I got to tell you.
All the chairs were low, so he was eyesight.
Right.
We went there. Yeah, that was his restaurant. Was a lot of fun.
I've had a couple of drinks with him since.
He's a good man. Yeah, a lot of fun.
He's a pisser, man.
All right, Johnny, I love you, man. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me back, and I really look forward to seeing the book. And
talk to you. I got a book for you.
Congratulations, guys, on this fucking great thing that you guys put together. I know it's wrapping up. I don't know how many episodes are left.
We've got not many. After today, 7.
Wow,
7 more to go.
Big run.
It's
a
long run.
I look forward to reading all the interviews in the book.
Yeah, you're gonna like
the book. Pictures of you too,
Johnny. The book is great.
There's a picture of you and me and Victoria in a limo on the way to the Eckel Awards.
On the way to the Emmys?
No, the Eckel.
Oh, the Eckel Awards. That's right.
On the way to the Eckel Awards.
I still have all my statues, by the way. I got all my.
I have an Eckel. Yeah.
I have 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's right.
And here's a great picture of the 3 of you guys.
I didn't know we had a picture
on the way to the Eckel Awards.
Oh, that's incredible. And of course, fucking smoking in a car.
In a limo.
Back then, right?
Back then, you do whatever you want.
All right, here's another good one, Johnny. The 3 is you, Stevie, and Michael.
Jesus Christ, man. I love it, man. That's a big book.
500 and...
I didn't
500 pages.
I didn't know we took a picture with Peter Falk. Because I remember thinking, like, how come I never took... I got to meet him, and he said to me, I like your face. And I was like, wow, what a wonderful thing for this guy to say. We had such a great conversation. He's friends with all the authors and all these great novelists, right? What an interesting guy. But I'm so pleased that a picture exists.
Hey,
we got Johnny, the picture.
Before you go, do Christopher Walken for me.
Oh, I can't. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Remember but wait, what? He was at the SAG Awards or something. You were in the
it was like in a. He was in the steam room, having a steam with like a Speedo on, and he said, "Oh, are you going to the thing tonight? I think it's in the parking lot across the street." So I was like, "Oh, it's right here. We have to go for it." It was like a 2-hour car ride. And Georgianne got pissed at me because she's like, "He doesn't talk like that."
She got mad at you?
Fucking around. We're already started out at the bar. You know what I mean? Before we even left the hotel.
And you were doing the impression and she got mad at you.
I said, if we were walking, I said, "Oh, it's across the street." And she said, "He doesn't talk like that." Sorry, darling. I'm damn. I feel bad.
There's only been 1,000 people who have done that very imitation. He may be the most imitated actor ever in history.
And he should be. He's the most unique.
Johnny, I'll see you, man. I love you. I'll talk to you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for doing this.
All right.
Thank you, man.
See you guys. Thanks.
Funny. Always funny. Good man. Let's take a break, get into the episode. Yeah. All right, so let's get into this episode, season 6, episode 14.
I call it season 7, episode 2.
Yeah. Okay. I you know what? And I agree with you. Stage 5. It aired April 15th, 2007. And, you know, I had to go back and reshoot some stuff.
Really?
In April of 2007.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, no. I had
What scene?
The episode where I got killed in.
The Blue Comet episode.
Blue Comet, which was episode 8. So, yeah. They weren't all in the can here. It was a little different come the home stretch here. Don't forget, these episodes were taken 17, 18, 19 working days each episode.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We started shooting this in 2006, this episode. I remember distinctly, you know. Don't forget, episode 1, Soprano Home Movies, in that July, we were in upstate New York shooting this in July. So stage 5 was shot in August of 2006.
Wow.
So
Stage 5 was written by Terry Winter, number 15 out of his 19 scripts. Directed by Alan Taylor, 7 out of 9. You know, the last episodes, it really kind of became David, Terry, and Matt were the writers pretty much. And Alan and Tim Van Patten had most of the directing jobs.
Yeah,
and, you know, it kind of came down to this core. Stage 5 refers to Johnny Sack. His cancer has advanced to stage 4, and he says there's no stage 5. Could also be, you know, we talked about, you know, denial, anger, and acceptance is an early episode, I guess, from season 1, I think. This is the 5th stage of grief, acceptance. It's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I think that may have something to do with it as well.
Yeah,
Stage 5.
There's some people never accept. People that are sick like this, some people never accept that they're dying. You know that? Very common. Not everyone goes, all right. First they're pissed. Why me? Why me? Why we? Right? Then they're sad. And then at some point, okay, I lived a good life or whatever. Not always.
Not always, no. And that's not a good way to go.
End, you know?
I don't think it's a good way to go with resentment and that kind of thing. It's better to make some kind of peace if you can.
Yeah, if you can.
Easier said than done, I'm sure, in the face of suffering like that. And this is, we have the little play inside a play on this episode. You know, we actually see scenes from the Cleaver, which finally comes to fruition. You know, for better or for worse, Christopher got his, we see it way back in the early episodes of the first couple of seasons. He was trying to do this for years and years, and he did it. Better for worse.
Do you know something? I'm not joking. I think if HBO would have did a 90-minute movie back then, like a bonus episode, they could have made the movie Cleaver. It would have been a fan favorite. Like
a tongue-in-cheek kind of horror spoof?
I honestly believe
I have to say, it's pretty fucking funny, those scenes.
Hilarious. And I'm telling you, I think it would have worked.
Now, there's a making of mockumentary. I think it's available on YouTube, of Cleaver. And it's me, the actor who played Morgan, the director, and little Carmine, Ray Bruzzo, being interviewed. It's like kind of like in EPK,
and you
behind the scenes. It was all improvised. It was on the DVD, extras, but it's on YouTube, and it's really fucking funny, I have to say. It's kind of hilarious. I loved doing it. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Because we never really got to improv as the characters on The Sopranos, and that was all improv, and it was really, really, really fun.
I'm telling you, there should have been a bonus, after the show ended, 2 months down the road, Cleaver.
Pretty funny, man.
There's a garage. This is a scene from Cleaver. Sally Boy, played by Daniel Baldwin, walks into the garage holding a gun.
Daniel's the second oldest. Alex, the oldest of the Baldwin brothers. Daniel's second oldest. Jim loved Daniel. I remember when we were shooting the scene at Gansevoort Hotel, which was where the rap party or the premiere party was. I think that was the first time Jim and Danny got to work together. And Jim was like, he fits this cast like a glove. Jim loved Danny Baldwin. He felt he was really one of us there. Daniel was on Homicide, Life on the Street. He was also in Mulholland Falls and Grey Gardens. What's interesting also is that the two main characters in Cleaver, Daniel Baldwin and Jonathan LaPaglia, are both younger brothers of other actors. Daniel, obviously, younger brother of Alec. Jonathan LaPaglia is Anthony's younger brother who auditioned, or was considered, not auditioned, but was considered for Tony Soprano. Jonathan also auditioned for Christopher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was one of the actors who auditioned for Christopher Moltisanti, believe it or not. I worked with him on New York Undercover right before The Sopranos. He was one of the stars of that show. The first line is just fucking hilarious. Welcome to the Chop Chop Cuisine. I mean, it's really funny. John Woo is the actor who plays director Morgan Yam. He's really good. It's just hilarious.
It's and then very, very funny.
And looks good the way it's shot. It looks like a horror movie. You know what I mean? It looks pretty damn good. The special effects. We pull out. We see we're in an edit room. They're screening it on an editing bay there. Carlo's there. Larry Boy, little Carmine, and we see he says Va Fangul, and then we see the blood, and then the little hunchback hanging from the car, and the crucifix.
Yeah, well, the hunchback it's like the one that Furio brought home from Italy, isn't it?
For AJ, yeah.
For AJ. That's exactly what it is. Christopher says it looks okay the way it is. Carlo says, come on, we need the extra scene or not. Christopher says, I like it the way it is. He says, come on, Chrissy. Audience today love blood. And
fuck Ben Kingsley.
He says, Daniel Baldwin. Christopher says, Daniel Baldwin took him to fucking acting school.
Well, Daniel Baldwin fits the role like he's kind of more of a Tony Soprano type.
Listen, we talked about this. I don't know if Ben Kingsley, and I know if somebody says he's an Oscar nominated, there was a comment, he's an Oscar nominated, of course he could do a Jersey accent. Of course he could play a wise guy. Well, I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure about that. It's not easy to do that convincingly.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. If he could do that. And little Carmine says, I tend to agree with Carlo. I'm thinking one more sexy kill. Christmas said, I'm going to have to get some more money from Tony. How much money do you think Tony put up? Half the movie?
What do you think the budget of this movie was? $1 million?
No, I think maybe more.
$1.5 million?
Yeah, I'd say about $1.5 million. There's a lot of effects and stuff,
And Tony might have put in $500,000?
It doesn't look that cheesy of a movie.
No, it actually looks like high production values, Yeah. I've been in cheesier movies.
Yeah, you and me both. But then the phone rings, and Christopher goes outside, right? Christopher goes outside, and he's telling Tony, I'm in editing. Like, Tony could give two fucks. He's looking at cereal down in the basement, and he's saying, we're doing ADR. So he said, tell me what that's again. Well, you want to come down? It's dubbing, it's where you do, you dub your voice. He said, you talk to the guy with the air mattresses. This is something I don't understand. He says, I'm in editing. We just saw a cut of Cleaver. And he talks about the Eldritch Cleaver estate. They want an injunction if we don't change the name. But Tony says everyone's going to be at the beach over the weekend. What's that got to do with the air mattresses?
He's got probably a truck of air mattresses that he wants to sell for the beach. Those things you float on.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the boss of a family, nickel and diamond?
Well, that's the whole point is
Jesus Christ.
Tony's still, Tony is checking into Christopher to see if he's fucking taking care of business, which he's not. I mean, obviously he is. Tony's invested in the movie, but I think Tony resents the fact that Christopher's so all in this showbiz thing. I think he feels like he's not taking his responsibilities as a member of the Soprano family very seriously. Christopher's all in. Christopher don't give a shit about anything else at this point. And then he says, Tony don't give a shit about coming.
But
It's
Tony
boring.
doesn't care. For your average person, this is boring. Well, Larry Boy.
Well, yeah, Larry Boy says it. It's boring being
it
on
is.
set.
Isn't
I
it
always
boring?
tell people.
Isn't it boring?
It's really boring. I remember I brought a friend to the set. There's people, friends, family, they always want to come down to set. You know, especially something like The Sopranos, if they love it and they're fans. But once you meet everybody, you know, you see Jim Gandolfini or you see Steve Schirripa or whatever. Once that's done, you know, it's not like you're going to sit down and watch an episode. You're going to watch maybe Tony get out, you know, go pick up the paper 20 times. I brought a friend once, and after like 2 hours, they said, "This sucks."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, it's, you know, it's very tedious. It's very slow.
I mean,
it's
you're
tiny
shooting,
bits and
it's
pieces.
not glamorous like people think. You're shooting in warehouses and
A parking lot. It's not like going to see a play.
yeah, exactly.
You know, you're going to see 3 lines maybe or something like that. So it is.
It's very
It's kind of like
boring.
watching paint dry.
I remember for years you could bring people to the set. They even auctioned off, if you remember, a lot of charities a visit to the set. People would pay big money, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to visit the set. And then
they stopped that then at some point.
They stopped it. You know, also to be an extra. They did that a lot. You could be an extra. I had a friend of mine was an extra, and he paid for it at an auction, and I introduced him to everyone, and it happened to be one of those days where everyone was there.
Oh, that's cool.
So he got to meet everyone, and he went to Uncle Junior's apartment house, and you know, the Soprano house. He took pictures sitting on the couch and all that shit. But sitting there, you know, they'll give you a headphone so you can listen to the actor do the same line 30 times.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is. That's production.
You know, it's very, very boring, you know. So next scene, we're at the medical center. Johnny Sack meets with Dr. Rosen.
That's Seth Barish. He's an actor, writer, director. He's the artistic director of the Barrow Group, a very important theater company here in New York City.
He's waiting there. The 2 federal marshals are sitting on the couch. So this is tough. He's going to get some news. There's no privacy. These 2 marshals are there. They traveled from, I don't know, wherever John is located. They're in Cleveland here. Dr. Rosen, based on the latest pictures, the cancer has continued to metastasize from the lungs. We now show masses in the lymph nodes, kidneys, and the brains.
This is as bad as it gets.
As bad as it gets. And it opens up in the scene. John is looking at a picture of the doctor and his family. His 2 kids and his wife. Vince Cortolo is very good in this episode.
Fantastic. I mean, really
I
good.
believe every
Man.
moment of him being sick.
Man, is it good. Yeah.
Every moment. Doctor is kind of cold, but I guess it's a tough gig telling people they're going to die. So I don't know how.
Well, it's like David Chase. He said he would pretend he was an oncologist, given the bad news. This is exactly what he was talking about.
But I mean, this is a tough. Imagine doing that 5 days a week. Sorry, you got a year to live. You got 3 months to live. I mean, tough. I guess at some point you put up a wall. There's no other way to do it.
Yeah, it's
People
very
have
hard.
a better bedside manner than others. I thought this guy's. I guess he gave it as straight as you can. He was
straight as he can. There have been miracles. He says, forget the miracles. He's straight with me, and he says 3 months, give or take, which means could be 2, could be 1, could be 4.
tough. That's a tough fucking meeting. And then the 2 guys are there on the couch. Also, it's not, you know, John is upset, but it's going to break down. You know.
He is a prisoner of the federal government, man. He's got no privacy.
John sits next to the marshal. The marshal says, "You okay, John?" You know, he said, "It's funny, ironic. Whichever, I got here. I quit smoking after 38 years. Exercise, ate right, and for what? You know, you smoke for 38 years. you don't clear that up in 6 months or a year, or
No, damage was done. That was it.
Visitor's room. Allegra and Ginny visit with Johnny Sack.
Vince was great in this scene. I mean, that was really powerful acting. Ginny and Allegra come visit. What did Rosen say? I don't know. And he just says, I'm very, very sick. And it's
very sad.
They hug, no physical contact.
Ginny's kind of a pain in the ass.
She's a pain in the ass. She loves her husband to death. And this is,
kind of a pain in the ass. Very self-centered also. As
overbearing, and kind of, in denial.
And the guard is kind of being sympathetic. No physical contact, please. They're hugging. He's, he says, I'll come back tomorrow. We'll have more time, And then he
bums a cigarette.
Yeah.
Bums a Newport.
Newport.
They came out. Listen to this. I just saw this on Instagram. In Russia, they sell Soprano cigarettes. Soprano brand. It's a brand. It's no picture of anybody. It's a brand name. Sopranos is huge in Russia.
Yeah.
And the brand name. Our book is going to come out in Russian. You know that.
Yeah.
Soprano cigarettes.
Wow. It's a Soprano cigarettes. There's a place in Aruba, Soprano Bar and Grill.
Soprano Pizzeria.
Yeah, I saw one this morning. A friend of mine that I knew in Costa Mesa years ago had a Soprano restaurant. And I saw one this morning. Someone sent the picture, Soprano Cafe in Sweden.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
And there's one in Ireland, I believe, or a Soprano Hero Store or something like that.
Really? Soprano dinner table. Tony, Carmela, Meadow, AJ, Blanca, and Hector eat dinner.
Blanca's just gotten the honeymoon is over.
You better believe it. She is
not happy with anything, it seems. She's just miserable.
They're talking about the premiere. Yeah, it's your cousin's. Meadow says, what should we wear? It's your cousin's movie premiere. We should dress accordingly. Tony says it's a cast and crew screening, which is different. A premiere is a big premiere, red carpet. There's press there. Everyone's dressed. It's a whole big ass-kissing schmooze fest. And it's a premiere to introduce this movie to the world. And a cast and crew screening, which they do a lot of. It's people that worked on the movie, no red carpet. And
family and friends,
family and friends kind of thing.
But for them, it's a big deal. These are not experienced movie makers. So for them, it's like going to a big event. These are Italian Americans from New Jersey. It's a big night out. It's not like, they go to these things once a month. This is a big deal. By the way, Kelly is taking her wedding dress and making a dress for the baby's christening, which Tony immediately gives Tony agita, which is I think a little bit of foreshadowing, maybe what's going to happen down the road. I mean, it's just like the idea of that, because he's the godfather.
Uh-huh.
And the idea of this maybe is just not going, it's just there's some toxic thing going on here.
And they all look concerned. And Carmela, it's in the city. Tony, that's a big deal with Carmela all the time. The city, the city.
It's a big event, yeah.
My daughter went to Columbia in the city, in Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's an after party at some rooftop bar in the meatpacking district. It's very chic now. Now
she said, is Meadow going to bring a date? She says, if I can meet a normal guy, maybe. And Blanca says, I heard that.
Blanca got the fucking claws out.
And AJ just kind of looks at her, doesn't know how to take it or what to say or what's going on. It's just terrible.
Tony makes a bad meat packer. I'm a happily married man. He makes a stupid joke. AJ laughs and she fucking gives him daggers, Blanca. AJ laughs at the bad joke Tony tells and she gives him daggers. Finn, did we ever find out what happened to Finn? I mean, Meadow was just back. She followed him to California. He must have dumped her.
He dumped her, I guess.
Meadow can't keep a guy.
I don't think he was ready to commit to the level that she wanted. You know what I mean? He was all, he's going to whatever dental school and he's busy, and she wanted this kind of more domestic.
I mean, can a dentist go into that family, or does she have to marry a guy like Jackie Jr.?
Like Jackie Jr. Maybe he might have backed out at the end of the day because of that. It might be too much baggage.
Goes like, what the fuck? I get these guys are breaking my balls. I got to be around Paulie and all these people.
I think the veto thing might have pushed him out the door.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he got in the middle of something that was very difficult and strange.
She says, I don't intend to discuss Finn. AJ says, hey, screw the movie. I just want to hang out with celebs. And she says, what, you think you're going to go sleep with Paris Hilton? And then Robert Isla, in his day, he hung out with Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan's of the day. He was in the nightclubs, Robert. He told us all about that. He enjoyed his time, hanging. He was a man about New York City, that's for sure. And she goes to the bathroom and says, you two have a fight. AJ say, I don't know. He's confused.
She's very confused. She turns. He's not, he's a lot younger than her.
Yeah.
She's got a kid. She's got responsibilities. That's all new to him. And I guess she's not.
And she's been around a while now. She's been around, we got to say, a good 6 months a year, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, they met at Christmas. Where are we here?
Summer, almost Memorial Day, probably.
So she feels comfortable at the table, fucking snapping on him,
Yeah.
Johnny lies in bed. The doctor checks on a patient next to Johnny. And Warren, played by the great Sidney Pollack.
Sidney Pollack won the Academy Award for Best Director for Out of Africa, he was nominated for Tootsie, nominated for They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Also directed The Way We Were, 3 Days of the Condor, Absence of Malice, which is a fucking excellent movie. So is 3 Days of the Condor.
Great.
Those are two really good ones, two of my favorite movies. He also was an actor in The Player, Robert Altman's movie, Woody Allen's Husband and Wives, Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut he acted in.
And he also acted in Tootsie. He played Dustin Hoffman's agent. They had a great scene in the Russian tea room.
Right, that's right.
Great. Just great.
Big talent. Big talent. And did a wonderful job in this role, I thought. Really believable.
Oh, yeah.
I believed everything he did here.
Warren is giving the doctor suggestions that he doesn't want. And the doctor says, I'm going to ask you again not to interfere, Warren. And Johnny Sack says, what are you, the world's smartest orderly? He says, these days I am 22 years. He was an oncologist, specializing in cancer of the liver. He said, hey, I killed my wife. I killed her aunt too, and the mailman.
He was abusing cocaine and alcohol, shot his wife 4 times, twice in the head, thought she was cheating on him with a chiropractor.
Which is very funny. Once again, one of these Soprano things. He wasn't just his wife wasn't just cheating with another guy. It was a chiropractor who, as we know, real doctors get annoyed that they call themselves doctors. You know that.
There's a thing.
There's a thing there. Like some people go, chiropractor, he's not a real doctor. He didn't go to medical school.
Yeah, he's really good in this scene. It's very specific. He says, Dr. Rosen, he's a good man. He finds out Dr. Rosen's treating Johnny Sack. But, what do you mean but? Well, he can't walk on water like people think. Because that's true. They look at these great doctors like they're,
We've talked about it. Of course
we've talked about it.
And now on the bed, if you notice, there's a book, Reader's Digest, How Docs Gamble with Your Life is on the cover of the book. How doctors gamble with your life.
Well, it's interesting what he says, because he goes, he looks at the chart. He says, with the treatment you've had, the chemo and the radiation, and all that, and the medications, you probably can live 1 to 3 years. Well, why did he tell me 3 months? He says, well, if he diagnosed you for 3 months and you live for a year or 2 years, who looks like a hero?
A lot of doctors, listen, there's wonderful, wonderful doctors. We talk about it over and over. Dr. Rock and Dr. Massey and Dr. Dirtsman and Lazaro. And there's a lot of smug fucking egomaniacs. Alec Baldwin, I forget what movie it is. He plays a doctor, young, good-looking guy, and in a meeting, he calls himself God.
He calls himself God.
Calls himself God.
Oh, wow, yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think is Warren a wacko? Well, he is. He's a murderer. He killed a mailman. He says he might as well go all the way with it. He was thorough.
Well, he's a wacko, but he says he was abusing cocaine and alcohol. He wasn't in his right mind.
Doing a good deed here. Does he honestly believe that Johnny Sack could have, with all the chemo and all the medication, that he could have more than, 3 months to live?
Well, he's only looking at a chart. This guy Rosen, Johnny Sack was his patient. We're assuming for quite a while, because he's had cancer for quite a bit. So he sees the progression much more accurately, I would imagine. So he's making a much less educated guess here. But who knows? I mean, I'm sure he knows his stuff if he was an oncologist for 22 years.
I know that. But is he just doing it like he's a bored fucking prisoner? He's never getting out. And
I think part of it is because he's a prisoner himself. He probably might be on the lookout because he might think some of these doctors or administrators don't give prisoners the care that other people would get, maybe.
So you think it's out of the goodness of his heart, not that he wants the attention. He still wants to be, this guy gives a shit about what he says.
Honestly, the way Sidney Pollack plays it, and it's a testament to his talent and his acting, it makes him seem like he's a noble guy. You know what I mean? Some other actor might have played it and you might have been like, he wants to be a big shot again. He wants to, But the way Sidney plays it, he brings humanity to it. That's what a great actor can do. You know what I mean? He can elevate something. It's not really even on the page necessarily, but he brings such a gravitas and such a depth and an honesty that exactly what you said. He's doing it out of goodness of his heart. I believe that. I would believe that as a choice, Great performance.
Tony walks down the driveway. Agent Harris and Goddard arrive. Tony says, "Fuck me." He's in his robe. They're asking him, about what happened in the Middle East. We're concerned. We talked to Moltisanti. We don't know if he talked to you, if he mentioned it to you, but Middle Eastern is Pakistanis. You'd be helping us a lot if you let us know if you hear things they're up to. And he says, I think there's a word for that.
Which is what, rat?
Rat, informant. Got it. Your daughter takes pre-med classes in New York. She uses the tunnels. Makes Tony think, help us out if you can. I don't think that's Tony's thing.
No, and he walks away. He doesn't want to, he's not into being a fucking informant to the FBI. And then he's angry when he walks in the house. That's the last time I ever get the paper. The maid should be here early. She should do that. It's too dangerous for me. I told you this before, and
he's never liked the maid. Never.
He's always had a beef. Always had a heart.
The series. He's never liked them. She cleaned somebody else's fucking toilets. That's a fucking low blow.
Mean.
Now, remember the premiere here? We shot it. The theater. Where were we?
That's the AMC Theater, 19th and Broadway.
19th and Broadway, Flatiron District. We went to eat. I remember me and you found a place to eat. Everybody was there. It's one of those days, one of our last days all together.
That's true. That is true. Everybody was there, the whole Soprano family.
Whoever was
left,
fun. Anyway. Whoever was left.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do that. Where did we go eat? Do you remember?
Nah, one of those, they got a lot of those restaurants on the side street there,
yeah.
We went to eat a Mediterranean place, I think, and we were there was a photo session, so like kind of on the breaks because there were so many people shooting so much stuff. Remember we took that shot, all of us in the movie theater. There's
right. Famous promo shot of all of us.
Correct. Little Carmine gives a speech. Welcome to the premiere of Cleaver, the story of a young man who goes to pieces. He makes a joke, manages to find himself again.
Chris looks so happy. He's just beaming,
but he should
man.
be. You know how hard
He's
it is to get a movie made? You got a movie made. You know?
He is just beaming. Little Carmine's happy. It's about a man who goes to pieces, finds himself again. And the speech is fucking hilarious. Terry writes really well. Really good dialogue for Little Carmine. Much like a child, a film has many parents, which makes no sense. That is to say, many individuals who act like parents, or that by aversion, the film is their baby. It's just fucking hilarious. And
I am an exec producer. 2 more people here tonight. Christopher Moltisanti. Christopher gives a speech, and he gives a shout out. What's his name? J.T. Dolan. Tim Daly's character thinks he's going to thank him for writing it.
Well, he doesn't mention the writer or the director. He just mentions Anthony Soprano and the investors.
And plus my new wife, Kelly, and our new baby. Don't forget, JT didn't get paid to write this.
He was working off his debt.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, the movie starts playing. Sally Boy's in the basement, which looks just like Tony Soprano's basement.
It's fucking hilarious.
That's very
it's just hilarious. He's like your own son.
When Silvio sees it, he laughs immediately. When he sees, it's very obvious it's Tony Soprano.
It's very obvious. We just saw Tony in his robe at the Soprano house. He calls him a pezzo novante, which is from The Godfather, where Don Corleone talks about. Pezzo novante actually literally means 90 caliber bullet, but it also means like a big shot, like Don Corleone talks about him like a senator. He says, "I wish my son would be a senator or a judge," and Michael says, "I'm not a pezzo novante." Somebody who's a big shot who thinks they're a big deal. Carmela says, "That's you." To Tony. And Tony is not, Tony is kind of not aware at first.
No, at this point, it's okay. And even Carmela is okay with it at this point. Hey, that's you. It's kind of a little flattering, But Ro, always the troublemaker, kind of looking at it, especially when he kisses the fiance, says you should be with a man, not a boy. And Ro looks at it and then gives Carmela the look, and Carmela looks back like, what? And Ro's going, it's very obvious here what it is. And the character's name is Michael, right?
Right. The Cleaver, his name is Michael. Yeah. Cecilia, Paulie Wallen's phone rings, and it's Cecilia by Simon and Garfunkel on Paulie. He starts talking on the phone. It's obviously Tony.
And Paulie's talking on the phone the entire movie.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
Talking on the phone the entire movie. Like I said, first, I guess it's a little bit of a Tony might be a little flattered until we see it later on, But it was remember, that was one of the last days we were all together.
It was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
The Cleaver party, Gansevoort Hotel in the Meatpacking District. We were there all day. I don't know if you were. I was there all day long. They gave us a room as dressing rooms. Were you there?
Why were you there? It was a night shoot. Why were you there all day long?
I don't know. I must have had to shoot something earlier. But I was there early in the day. I think I shot something. I don't know what.
Yeah. We had hotel rooms.
Dressing rooms. So
we had hotel rooms as dressing rooms.
Hotel dressing rooms, but they were not, you couldn't stay overnight, and you were told not to order room service. It wasn't the free-for-all or the room service. So I'm in my room, and, one of our favorite restaurants when you used to eat meat, Macellaria, was down the street.
Yeah, it was like across the street, pretty much.
So great, right? So, the day's getting on. You're just sitting in your hotel room, whatever. I think we had to rehearse. We were there early, but they didn't need us for like 4 fucking hours, So I call Sirico. He's in the room next door. I say, do you want to go eat with me? I'm going to go to Macellaria. He says, come over. I just ordered a hamburger, and then I'll come with you. So I go to his room, okay? I go to his room. The room service comes to the door. He asks me for $10 to tip the guy. And he signs to the room. Okay? So I'm out $10. I mean, what the fuck, you know? So I sit there. He's eating his hamburger. He likes his hamburger, french fries. We get dressed. We walk down the street to Macellaria. Who do we run into? David Chase and his wife, Denise.
At Macellaria?
No, in the street.
On the street.
Got it? Tony
Right.
goes, we're on our way, David, we're on our way to Macellaria. Why don't you join us? They come and join us. They order bottle, you know. I would buy anything for David Chase. He changed my life. But Tony's ordering fucking wine. He ordered an appetizer. He didn't eat a steak because he had just had the hamburger. We order steaks, whatever. And I get stuck with the fucking check. It's 3 and change. Which, like I said, I'll buy David and Denise, but fucking Tony, he's drinking red fucking.
Tony didn't put up for the check?
He didn't go, come on, I don't even know if he had any money. He borrowed $10 from me earlier. But the funny thing is, a few weeks later, he got a bill from production to pay for the fucking hamburger.
Oh, he must have been mad.
Yeah, it was like 17 and change or something. 17.
That's great.
So we're at the Gainesville Hotel. I mean, you see everybody's there also. You know,
Little Carmine, his famous line, his daughter remarks about the crucifix and the hunchback side by side. Yes, good observation. The sacred and the propane. Hilarious. Blanca's miserable. She's just...
What's her beef? What's Blanca's beef? I mean, honestly, she lives in New Jersey, wherever she lives, in an apartment. She's raising a kid. Here's AJ. He's working on a construction site, but it's a union job. He's making money. Big house.
I think she feels he's too immature. Not a man.
Gets to be a part of this. Someday, a lot of this is going to be him. I mean, this is a golden ticket for her. As Tony Sirico would say, should be on Enchilada Street.
Enchilada Street. No, I think she just feels he's immature, and she wants somebody more mature.
You know,
I think that's the deal.
He says, I asked if you wanted popcorn. Hey, Tony, hey, come here. He hugs Christopher, fucking boss down in the cellar, white bathrobe. Where'd you get that from? I don't know, artistic choice. And once again, a very small time thing. Tony says, I'm very proud of you no matter what. You got a movie made. Christopher swiped cases of vodka for the promotion, which a lot of times vodka companies will give you vodka, you display it.
They'll sponsor a party.
They'll sponsor a party. And he had 3 cases put in his car. What the fuck? What does that cost? Case of vodka, let's say, each case is, let's make believe $200. It's $600 worth of vodka he stole, if it's that much.
Right. He got $1 million movie made or whatever, and now he's stealing vodka.
So Tony's flattered at this point. He's happy. He's flattered. But
Chris is kind of clueless. Like he's at this point, he's really not conscious that he made this guy in Tony's, image.
No, he's kind of flattered. He's kind of flattered. Hey, he's happy about it. He's happy he got the movie made. Then Larry Boy, the marshal comes. They take him out. He's supposed to be on the house arrest. We've seen that before. He's yelling. Last time you see Tony Darrow played by Larry Boy Baris played by Tony Darrow. This is the last time you see him in the show. But then Tony says something to Christopher. 100 years from now, people will be watching this. Does that mean Cleaver or The Sopranos?
What do you mean? Cleaver, of course.
Is there a deeper meaning?
Well, because legacy comes up a couple of times.
It's a deeper meaning here.
What's his name brings up legacy. Johnny Sack brings it up. And then Phil kind of brings it up in terms of, talking about his family and, leaving, what
That's
his
right,
family
but
name.
I'm taking it like that. He's telling, of course, Tony is talking to Christopher 100 years from now. It could also be Jim talking to Michael.
True. That makes sense.
Now, they really mean that, they'll be watching this thing. Will they be watching this 100 years from now?
The podcast? Will this podcast make sense to people in 100 years? Will we be?
It won't
long
make
dead
sense
and
in
buried?
100 fucking days from now. Tony and Phil.
How's Florida? Phil, now was Phil coming on to Tony? Is that a proposition? Florida's hot and sticky, like my balls.
So he said, you think that's a good come on line? Hey,
I don't know.
You want to touch my hot and sticky balls? I've never used that one. Go up to a girl in the club. Hi, honey.
I don't know.
I do chew too. I use Blue Chew, and my balls are hot and sticky. You think that'll get you laid?
No,
I think not.
But Phil, Phil is, he's twisted. He's
Tony. Tony tells Phil, straighten out your family. Envelopes are light 10%.
There's a power vacuum, so no one, everyone's being a little bit cautious. They don't have to kick up as much because no one's there cracking heads. Nobody's really taking charge of the family. Phil and Tony commiserate about their illnesses right before that. I'm recovering. I can't eat this. I'm recovering. I had to do this. Rehab. I had to do physical therapy.
A lot of people do that. They, when they lose weight, they do that. They start giving you fucking advice. And then when they had some ailment, now they're telling you all about it,
Yeah.
It's like our stupid friend Lenny used to talk about his hemorrhoids. That's when I said, check, please. Nobody cares. He's talking about hemorrhoids. Check, please. What the fuck? Nobody wants to hear about your hemorrhoids.
Nobody wants to hear. He talks about Jerry being the,
favorite to take over. It's my protege. The New York crew takes a picture. Tony says, what, early man?
Family of early man, insulting them, basically, calling them Neanderthals. Cut to the TV show, Geraldo playing himself on the Geraldo show. Jerry Capici, who's a mob, writes about the mob.
He's one of the utmost experienced authority on the mob, in the history of the mob. A good guy. That's my grandmother's maiden name, Capici. He calls it Capici. I did Politically Incorrect with him, I believe, years ago, if I'm not mistaken, with Bill Maher. Years ago, they did it on the pier in Williamsburg, when Williamsburg before was built up. He did some live shows. A good guy and a talented guy. And I told you my Geraldo story. Geraldo, I went on his show to promote Nothing Personal, which was about hitmen, but not mob hitmen. And I was told I would be the only guest. I told you that story.
And he blindsided you.
Yeah, he ambushed me. He had somebody on the show. Father was a hitman. He tried to get us fighting. I didn't want to, step off and cause a scene, but he just fucking flat out fucked me. Yeah. And I asked, when I was there, it was 10 o'clock at night. They lied to you. Joe was alive, 10 o'clock at night. And I went up there on a Sunday night, and I said, now, I'm the only guest. I don't know. I had a feeling. And he just fucked me. Geraldo. Yeah. Matt Weiner
plays Manny Safier.
Does a great job.
The wise guide to the wise guys. And there's tension between the two of them, like they're kind of rival mob experts.
But that's a good name. Good name.
Yeah. Really good name for a book. Matt's wearing a wig. He's really good and really funny. There's a power vacuum, obviously. They're rivals. They're talking about, the New York family, who's going to take over. And then we see Elliot Kupferberg is watching this with his girlfriend. And he says, they talk about Doc Santoro's next in line. He says, I called this Santoro thing years ago, which is kind of a funny sequence there.
He became kind of very, since Melfi told him about Tony Soprano, Elliot became very enthralled and like kind of a mob groupie in a way.
Yeah, he's a mob groupie, without a doubt.
There's a lot of mob groupies around, right?
A lot of people, yeah.
A lot of people very enthralled with this lifestyle. Only it's these guys are ruthless. This is not a joke. This ain't TV. It's not The Godfather. TV. No.
It is what it is. Yeah, we know that.
The jail visitors room.
Anthony Infante, Ginny's brother, visits Johnny Sack. He talks about life insurance. He wants to put Ginny on a monthly stipend. She's not so savvy with money. He wants to make sure she's taken care of. I could hang on for years. Who knows?
Not all the doctors agree.
Yeah, how will I be remembered? Now, a lot of people really care about their legacy. Honestly, I really don't give a shit because I know I'm not going to worry about it. Once I'm gone, I'm gone. There's no.
Yeah, but you're going to come back as something else. That's what
I'm going to come back, but I'm not going to worry about the legacy of Michael Imperioli when I come back. I won't give a shit about that. Do you care about your legacy?
Not really, no. I know what I am. I know that I'm a good guy. I mean, I know what I am. I know what I am to my family and friends that I give a fuck about. People could have assumptions all day long out there, but the people I care about know what I'm about and who I am. You know me.
Who has assumptions?
A lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so. People you go along the way. I mean, people think you're this person. They don't know the real me or the real you.
What's the real you?
I'm a good fucking guy. I've taken care of my family.
The guy on the podcast, is that the real Steve Schirripa?
That's up to you.
Or is that just, what?
I don't know. It's up to you to decide, I guess.
So he says, what do I think? Well, it's a side. It's a side. I mean, you present a certain image. You like to, you like the public to see a certain facade.
What does Melfi say? Yeah, people only see what you allow them to see.
Yes and no. I don't know if I believe that.
I know you said that before. I do believe that. Also,
I think people see what they want to see, not what you allow them. People see what they want to see.
Listen, people who know me know what I'm about. A lot of people, especially if you're in the public eye, and not necessarily that, a lot of people think you're like Christopher.
Sure.
They think like I'm Bobby Bacala or Anthony from Blue Bloods or from the other role I played. They think I'm that guy. They don't know me.
No. Well, this podcast has allowed people to know you a little bit.
A little bit.
Your likes and dislikes.
But I haven't let it all out. You give half a loaf, you get half a loaf. You know that saying?
No, never heard it.
There you go.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? You don't let everything out. They don't know all about me. Nobody knows all about me except for my friends and my family, my wife, my kids. So as far as legacy, I really only care about the people I care about, what they think.
There you go. Well, and Johnny Sack says he wants to know. He says, well, wonderful husband, loving father. He goes, no. He wants to know on the street. Well liked across the board, despite the allocution. Only negative is people felt when he became boss, he changed, he became trigger happy and hot-headed.
Which is true. He says it's a thankless job. But there's a great line here when Anthony's being very diplomatic because Johnny's got a little false hope here about living longer. I could live another year or two. And which doctor doesn't agree? He says the wife murderer, he's still a doctor. He says I could hang on for years. And he says OJ is no less of a running back, right? Even though he's a murderer, he could still run the ball.
You think OJ did it?
It certainly looks like it to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he was found not guilty, but everyone else seems to think. I mean, well, let's put it this way. If he didn't do it, who did it? And why isn't he trying to look for who did it, or why isn't anyone else looking?
I mean, my opinion is that he did it. Obviously. Also, if he wanted to say, if you wanted to get rid of your wife, right? You hire a hitman, whatever, however you do that. Hitmen don't do. That's not how they get rid of people. Like with a knife, butchering. You know, they they sneak up, put a bullet in their head, and that's it.
Yeah, they would have used.
That's a crime of passion. That's a crime of passion, my friend. You got to get in there close. You know, that's a stabbing like that. That's an intimate act. But
what's quite amazing. What's it? Al Cowling, his friend who drove, was in him with the Bronco. He disappeared. I mean, not disappeared. He's somewhere, but he stayed out of the public. I mean, I did something with Cato Kalin once, who was a very polite gentleman. I wonder if he really knows what happened. He's never said.
He probably does.
You think him and Al Cowling know what happened?
Now, when it first happened, right? So he was in the car with a gun to his head. I mean, that's somebody who's guilty does that, something like that, right?
Listen, it certainly looks like he's guilty. I don't know.
It certainly looks like. When nobody really knows for sure, you can't say 100%. It certainly looks like.
I mean, if I had a bet, I would say he's guilty.
Yeah.
I remember where I was. There's certain times you know where you were when something happens. Like Kennedy got shot. I was in elementary school. I was in school.
At the Three Stooges school. That one?
Yeah, 163. Three Stooges school. Three Stooges high. I remember, unfortunately, when Jim passed away, I was at Yankee Stadium. And when OJ, the Bronco, was going, I was at a bar in Vegas called Screwballs, eating pizza and drinking vodka.
The bar was called Screwballs.
Screwballs.
I don't remember where I was during the Bronco, but I remember when the verdict came in, I was on the set in Santa Clarita. There's that studio in Santa Clarita where they do a lot of Westerns. I was doing Last Man Standing, which is kind of a Western. And they brought a TV out and took a break on the set. The whole cast and crew. They brought a TV. We were shooting on this Western street kind of thing, with the saloon and all that shit. And they put the TV on the porch and everybody was stopped working and watched it happen. Yeah, Bruce Willis included. Bruce Willis was watching along with everybody else. Yeah.
I was at the gym. They had it on the TVs there. Yeah. But then OJ, he got 9 years. A judge in Vegas, Jackie Glass, who I know, gave him 9 years for going to steal his own memorabilia, whatever fucking craziness that is. But now he's living large in Vegas. He's happy hour every day down in downtown Summerlin. He golfs every day. He still gets
happy hour at a restaurant.
Oh yeah, a bunch of restaurants. Our buddy Lon Bronson was talking to him. He's there, happy hour. It's a scene.
Out and about,
loving it. The people there are loving him and loving it. And he's out and about, and he gets a pension, I think, over $300,000 a year, I understand.
From the NFL?
That can't be touched.
And probably a SAG pension.
Correct. And, you could live very well in Las Vegas for that money. And I'm sure a lot of people...
You can live very well anywhere for that money. Well, let's be honest.
There you go.
Soprano House, Cleaver mug. I still have...
I have one.
I have a couple of those Cleaver mugs. They actually made a bunch of them. Those are pretty cool mugs. They're a nice mug, actually. He says, Carm, you hungover? Pissy. She said, I had 2 drinks. And she's pissed because says, the boss is based on you. He says, imitation's a form of flattery. She says, no, it's not flattery. the girlfriend, the fiance, he's like, Adriana, Ro thought so as well. She's saying basically it's a revenge fantasy that Christopher has against you. At the end of the movie, the boss's head gets split open.
Yeah.
This is Christopher's revenge fantasy. This is how he feels about you. And Tony thinks about that.
And I agree. Now, let me tell you about this line. The imitation is a form of flattery. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
I agree with you.
All right? Now, if I do an impression of Michael Imperioli...
Yeah, let me see. Do it.
No, I don't do one of you. I believe in squids. I believe in...
I can do an impression of you.
Go ahead, I know. You've done it before. Go ahead.
Want to see it again?
Yeah.
I'm a regular guy. I'm a regular guy. I'm a regular guy. That's my impression of you.
Okay.
That's pretty good, right?
I love it. So, if you do an impression of someone in a flattering way, like, hey, I'm going to do Christopher or I'm going to do Michael, but when you a lot of times they're making fun of.
Yeah, of course.
They're making fun of the way you talk, the way you do, you put, whatever. Anyway, I'm not saying none of them are, but a lot of them are to mock, to make fun of. It's not all flattering. Bullshit. That's a bullshit quote.
I agree with you.
All right. Like when we do Tony Sirico, that's flattering. I'm not making fun of Tony.
You're not humiliating him. No.
No.
No, you love him. You do with affection because he's a good friend, and he's just such a unique individual that we find it fascinating and fun. And I haven't seen him in a long time, and I miss him.
So,
but yeah, I think when it's not done with affection, and which usually it's not.
Usually not.
No.
Usually not. They want everything's negative, mock, negative. Let's mock them. Especially with social media. You know that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've never, ever written something on social media like about an actor. Tom Hanks is a blah, blah, blah. So-and-so is a blah. Never. I would never even think of that.
Why Tom Hanks?
I don't know. It just popped in my head. I like Tom Hanks.
So if you were going to go after someone, it would be Tom Hanks.
No, it would not.
Is that what you were suggesting?
I happen to know Tom Hanks, and I happen to like him very much. I like his work, and I like him personally.
I don't know him.
I know him.
I don't.
Well, what can I tell you? Then you fucking do something with it. Tony sits at the bar. Tony arrives. Tony, so what you think of the movie? Tony's fishing here. Silvio's preoccupied. He's kind of fishing, is Sally Boy him?
I mean, it's so obviously him. I mean, it's...
Well, Chrissy's the last person I would have confused with Marty, but I got to say, it wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
Is he around? Said that Baldwin was pretty good, huh? And that girl that he played, she was hot, the one he was fucking. He's preoccupied. What's he doing? A crossword puzzle? So here.
He's doing a crossword puzzle. Yeah, he's busy.
I like he says, "Oh, Chrissy don't come around here no more."
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, Christopher later on alludes that he doesn't go around because of the booze, but it's not that. He's preoccupied. He's just, he's bored with fucking the bada bing and the pork store and all that shit.
Well, Silvio, Baldwin was a mean fuck. I'll tell you that. Chris sits at the table with his sponsor, Eddie.
That's the diner in Park West Diner in Little Falls. Eddie Dunn is his sponsor. Chris McDonald, great actor, who I loved working with. I had a lot of fun with Chris.
He's done a lot of work. David's used him numerous times on numerous things.
100 films he's done. Over 100 films. Happy Gilmore Quiz Show, which a movie that I really love that Robert Redford directed. He's really good. Thelma and Louise, Requiem for a Dream. I mean, he's done a lot of work, and he's great. Christopher brings up the fact that he was inspired by Edward Scissorhands.
Lying.
He says, but I was thinking at first maybe make his hand a ball peen hammer. Where do these ideas? Who knows the creative
He should have
process?
made his hand a dildo. That would be a whole different movie.
The porn version would be.
He had a dildo at the end of his hand.
That's the porno version, yeah. And Christopher says, Chris is really says it's like his dreams have come true. It's like I'm living someone else's life. And then he talks about not being comfortable with success. Are you comfortable with success?
Yeah.
You know, there's people who, it's a psychological thing, sabotage success. That's a thing. You know that. I've known people who did that.
I understand. I know it's a real thing. But when you say comfortable with success, there's a lot of people that shoot themselves in the foot all the time, right? That saying, guy always shoots himself in the foot. Climbs the ladder for some reason. He's afraid of success. Things are going to change. You know, I'm going to get successful. I'm going to make money. I'm going to get famous. People are going to treat me different. Then you got a whole nother set of headaches, right? Is that they think ahead?
I don't know. I don't even know if they think that much ahead. It becomes kind of an instinctual thing because they feel they're not, I think at their core, they're insecure. They feel they're they're inadequate. And they're going to be exposed as a fraud and stuff like that.
But what is success? Success is different to every single person.
That is true. That is true. For some, it's making money. For some, it's being famous. For some, it's achieving, a certain level in their career.
Having a good marriage, having kids, having a lovely family. That guy's as successful as any big, rich person to me.
Do you think this podcast is a success?
It was a huge success.
Yeah. Against all odds, really.
But that's for people, the fans, to answer. And when you have 200,000 people and we get all the comments, how much they enjoy it and love it, and we were able to put a smile on people's face, that's what's made it a success. I mean, we didn't get rich doing this. That's not why we did it.
No, why
Andy
did we
got
do
rich. Andy got
why?
rich.
Can you remind me, why did we do it?
Andy got
I can't really remember. I don't remember my motivation anymore. When we started this, Andy was sober. Did you know that?
I know.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in therapy.
By the finale, he'll be a junkie.
Yeah.
He's going to go.
He's a rich alcoholic in therapy right now.
He's going to enter rehab by when the day we wrap this, he'll go into.
Well, he told me he's going to Florida for 2 weeks. Is that to dry out?
Maybe. Yeah, it might be to dry out. Maybe. Well, Christopher, they bring it up here, especially someone who's an addict. This kind of success can be really scary. Highs and lows for an addict are dangerous. Highs and lows. Look at, it's like why a lot of people like artists and musicians and shit, it's like highs and lows, they get into drug addiction. So he's worried. And Christopher says, feel the fear and do it anyway, that's what some people say is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
But you know something? I told you there was a lot of comedians that I used to work with, right? And a lot of them were, in recovery. And they would tell me it wasn't the bad times, like when things were shitty, that they would want to drink. It was when things were good.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It was when things were good. When I had a baby, or I went to a party, or I got a new job, I got a gig, I got something great happened in my life. I wanted to go out and celebrate and be normal like the other people, and that's when it was hardest for them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like when if you gamble, like if you're in a casino, you gamble, you play black, you win a couple of $1,000, right? It's really exciting, it's really big, and then you stop. And it's kind of like you're happy you won this money, but it's almost like, now what? I mean, hopefully you'll just go to bed or leave or go home. But if you're there and say you're staying a couple of days, it's almost like that action and that energy and excitement is not enough because it's over. So more often than not, you'll go back and
sure.
Happens all the time to gamblers. You know what I mean? Because it's not about the money. It's about the action.
But isn't it a lot of comedians, a lot of live performers,
musicians
get that high on stage from the audience? Instant gratification. It's not like doing a movie and I got to wait a month till you're going to see it.
No, the crowd, the cheers, the
right
roar of
now,
the crowd.
The laughs, the crowd, the cheers. And they want to keep that going off stage.
So that's where drugs come in.
It's midnight. Let's keep that fucking thing going.
So you get into drugs, alcohol,
drinking,
sex.
Keep the party going.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny's telling mob stories to Warren and another patient. Now, is this story, is he talking about the Ralphie story maybe with a little mole on the ass? Is this...
No, he's talking about, you think he's exaggerating, saying the guy's actually fucking somebody's wife?
That's what I was
but he's saying 8 years later he could get rid of him because Carmine was a cheap, money-grabbing guy. You know, he was all about money, which a lot of these guys are. And he's telling this story. He's not doing well. He's declining, obviously.
Ginny, what the hell are you doing? You're smoking. Daddy, you're on oxygen. What do I got to lose, Jen? What's the difference? Miracles do happen, John. Not to this family. I mean, of course, he's painting himself as the victim. He is a victim with the illness. He also smoked like a fucking chimney for years and years and years and years, and here's the payoff, unfortunately. Not his fault, but... and this family, miracles don't happen. I mean, he's a murderer, Johnny Sack.
Sure.
I mean, he's not in jail like on trumped up charges. He's a murderer.
No, he's caused a lot of suffering to a lot of people. Yes, absolutely. And then she says, is that kind of thinking, that kind of attitude that, you know, maybe got you this cancer in the first place? I don't know. The smoking might have had something to do with that too.
Yeah, but it's also... it's also, is this where he talks about the kids with leukemia?
Yeah, she says that kind of negative thinking that gave you cancer. He says, well, what about 6-year-olds with leukemia? Did negative thinking give them cancer? You know, he doesn't want to hear it. He wants to, he's knows he's going to die and he doesn't give a fuck anymore. That's it.
The restaurant? Silvio.
That's Bamonte's on Withers Street in Williamsburg. Great restaurant.
What's it called?
Bamonte's.
Bamonte's?
That's Bamonte's in Williamsburg. It's a great restaurant, old school, been there over 100 years.
Great. I think it's on our list. If it's not, Andy, put down the bottle and put it on the list, please.
Bamonte's is a great restaurant. And old school. It's like you're in a movie. We've shot there a bunch of times.
Do you know, and I've talked about it before, the restaurant's been there so long, people have had their communion party and their funeral repast in that restaurant. And, you know, the Dodgers in the 50s, when they were at Ebbets Field, used to go there. A lot of the Dodger players, the Brooklyn Dodgers. We shoot there a lot.
Where was Ebbets Field? Where in Brooklyn?
It was like in Flatbush, Bed-Stuy, like in that area. Like
okay.
You know, it's apartment buildings now. Apartment buildings. It was all the way down Bedford Avenue. You know, like you got Bedford Avenue all the way down Bedford Avenue. Matter of fact, I think Gil Hodges lived on Bedford Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. But Bamonte's is a great restaurant. Andy, seriously, if it's not on the list, please put that on. Also, Arturo's on Houston Street.
I used to live next door. I love Arturo's.
We had a pizza, half mushroom, half anchovy the other night. Listen, if you meet a woman, you young guys out there, and they like anchovies, marry them. Because a lot of women don't like anchovies. If you're an anchovy guy, you got to marry a woman that likes anchovies.
Or you split it up, half and half.
Great restaurant. Great restaurant.
Live music. Arturo's Bamonte's old school. This is like You got to support these places because there's not a lot of them,
and they're
left.
not, absolutely. And beautiful, beautiful piano player, guy playing the bass, piano. You're eating a pizza, Caesar salad, baked clams.
Yeah, that's a real New York night. You go to Bamonte's, you go to Arturo's, have a pizza. Go to Bamonte's, have a dinner there.
Beautiful. I mean, really, great restaurants. Silvio and Jerry. This is Jerry, played by the great John Bianco. This is the most kind of he's got to do in the show. Unfortunately, it's his last episode. Nice guy, good actor. They're in Bamonte's. They got their gomadas with them.
He's talking about Phil's heart. That's a metaphor. He lost his balls. His heart's not in it anymore. He mentions Silvio mentions Quattro Gatti, which is a restaurant on 81st Street. I think it's owned by the same people who own Campagna.
Oh, yeah.
Or Campagnolo, I'm sorry. I'm not sure about that. Quattro Gatti, supposedly, I have never been, but people say that's a really good one. This scene is shot really well. It's almost like they talk about, when something fucking really traumatic or scary or dangerous happens, it's almost like time slows down. Well, they do it, that's how they shot this scene.
Oh, it's great.
Blood splatters on Silvio. He's not sure what the fuck just happened.
You don't hear.
He's almost not aware.
Drop down. Yeah.
Time slows down, and Silvio knows exactly what to do. Not only does he help, make sure the girls are okay, he gets them out of there. He just goes, Silvio's a real, he's a gangster man.
Absolutely. He's a mechanic. He knows the ways of the street. I'm not sure if the shooter was the same guy that shoots Bobby later on.
Oh, maybe. You got to look into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Great scene. I love how he shot this. Alan, Phil Abraham, they did a great, or it might have been Alex Sakharov who did this, DP, because Phil was prepping. So I think Phil directed the next episode. He might have been prepping. So Alex Sakharov might have been the DP on this.
I just heard from Alex's brother in Toronto, who's a huge listener of the podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
He enjoys what we do.
Golf course. And here we see Tony. It's interesting they kind of layered this in because he has that episode where he's gambling a lot. Is that coming up? So he's betting $5,000 on 3 different football games.
$15,000.
Is it? No, it must be baseball. It was summer or spring, so it's baseball. Minnesota, St. Louis, and Baltimore. $15,000 total. That's a lot of money to bet on sports, obviously. Little Carmine orders seared ahi with mixed greens and an iced tea, and Tony wants a Philly cheesesteak.
Correct.
Talking about leadership, Doc Santoro disrespected him by, almost killing Silvio, basically, putting his own consigliere in harm's way. Lack of respect, this leadership. You got to step up. He says, I never thought you'd mutter those words. Should be utter those words. Little Carmine doesn't want to be boss.
He
just says it's too much trouble, too much stress.
He's practically begging Carmine, get your hands around this thing. Step in as boss.
He talks about a dream he had about this gift, mellifluous box. Mellifluous means like melodious or something. I mean, it's just he uses these malaprops. It's just fucking hilarious. He's like the Norm Crosby of mafia guys.
Not easy to do. He does a good job. This is not easy.
He delivers it. Yeah, he plays him as this kind of innocent, guy pretending to be smart who's not, and he does a just perfect job of it. He's great casting. And he basically talks about his ritual. He comes home, he goes in the pool naked. His wife brings him a scotch. He goes in the AC. She brings me a light dinner on a tray. It's very specific. His simple thing, but very specific. And she said, I don't want to be the wealthiest widow on Long Island, because one night he came home stressed, he didn't go in the pool, he went right to bed. Tony's listening to this, The dream, he says, is not about being boss. The dream was about being happy. And that's what Carmine is choosing, happiness over power. And Tony's listening, thinking about this. And as he does, we cut to Johnny Sack. Here's the end. in the hospital.
And he was
dying.
all about power, all about his ego. He wanted the top spot. Remember, Tony told him, Tony told him, you sure you want this? Johnny loved it. It was his ego. He bought the Maserati or the Ferrari, whatever, and he wanted all the trappings to be the rich New York boss of the family.
And he's dying. He's
and what
asleep.
does it all fucking mean now?
And he talks about now he's losing control. He was all about control, and smoking gives him that illusion of being back in control.
But Ginny walks out of the room. She says, I lost 27 pounds. He couldn't quit smoking. Always back to Ginny.
And it's a moot point by now. We know that.
When you're younger, I don't want to sound like an old fucking douche here, but when you're younger, you think these things mean something. Like
what?
You just think having I'm gonna get this great car. I'm gonna buy a brand new Camaro, and going to this restaurant means something. Or do you know what I mean? Going here means something. Or look what I bought means something. It means to me, as I've gotten older, it means nothing. Nothing. I mean, you want to live nice. You worked hard all your life. You should. You want to stay in a nice hotel room. You want to go on vacation. You want to do what you want to do. But do it for yourself. Don't do it to show off for other people.
No. Because at the end of the day, it all means bullshit. You're right.
It's a lot of bullshit. You want the big house, want it for you and your family, and not to fucking show the guy across the street, look what I got. Soprano house. Carmela holds Christopher's baby. Kelly
Caitlin.
And Christopher are there. Kelly goes to the bathroom. And Carmela says, I'm not... he says, how you doing? Tony said you got an offer on the house you built. He calls her Ivana Trump. She says, I'm very disappointed at what you did. The boss sleeping with the other guy's fiance. Please, like that wasn't based on Tony and Adriana.
He denies it all the way. She said, well, you got a story by credit. He said, I only did that for the Writers Guild health insurance. He denies it. And, in a way, he doesn't really think that he did anything wrong here.
Well, he goes on the offense. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He's very disciplined. He doesn't want to hear it. And he storms out of there.
Did Christopher do it purposely or subconsciously?
I think, it seems to us, it's so fucking obvious, but I really think he wasn't that conscious of it. He was so wrapped up in making this thing happen, and figuring out the details of the story that I think he was unaware and unconscious of the fact that he was using Tony in his relationship. I really do.
No. Johnny Sacks, hospital bed. Warren arrives. Johnny's in bad shape. He checks his pulse.
He gives him Billy Bathgate, which is a book by E.L. Doctorow, who wrote Ragtime, among others. Billy Bathgate also dealt with the mob, like I think Dutch Schultz and stuff. And the movie, Buscemi, John Costello, and Paulie Herman were all in the movie Billy Bathgate.
Oh, really?
Dustin Hoffman was the star of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, I saw the movie a long time ago.
I auditioned for it.
And who got it?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I didn't.
When you read for something and you didn't get it, do you like to know who got it?
Not necessarily.
Did that change over the years, or was it different when you were younger?
Oh, when I was younger, I was always desperate. I wanted so much to work. When they were casting Godfather 3, Rosalie Josephs was casting, and first they didn't even call it.
Love her.
She's great. They called it Secret Journal. They didn't want to say what it was. They were seeing all these Italians. And then it came out somehow they were casting Godfather 3. There was a role of Michael's son who was an opera singer. And I was so desperate that I so wanted to be in that movie. I told Rosalie Josephs that I sang opera. And she said, no, you don't. I said, I do. She goes, you don't. And I was thinking I was going to try to fake it. I don't know what I was thinking. I just was so desperate. And I can't sing opera for a fucking lick.
You're lucky
You know,
she didn't say, all right, let me hear.
she didn't. She spared me because I love her. She's a great casting director. She was always very kind to me. But
I love her.
I lied to her face and said that I could sing opera because I wanted to be in Godfather 3.
Wow. You dodged a bullet there, my friend.
I dodged the bullet. Yeah. Imagine if she said, okay, I want you to learn La Donna Mobile and go sing it for Francis.
You would have tried.
As they cast a real opera singer, obviously. You can't fake that.
Yeah, but I don't know if I necessarily want to know who got it, but I do like to know, or if I was up for something, not even necessary audition, it's like, well, who they give it to? Did they give it to another fat guy? Another Italian fat guy my age? Or did they give it to, a woman? Or did they give
What would make you feel better?
Probably if they went a completely different way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they went a completely different way, you say, you know what? They went younger. They went with a guy that's, 40. Well, I can't be 40. I can't be skinny. I can't, certain things you just can't be.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It makes you feel better. I don't fucking live and die by them anymore. That's long gone.
No, I don't feel the same way. I mean, when you're young, that's all I cared about. When I was in my 20s, all I cared about was
I don't live or die by did I get it or didn't. I do go in there. I do the best I can. I prepare the best I can. I go in there and I do it. If that's what you want, that's what you want. If not, I get it. It's too many variables that could keep me from getting the job. It's almost amazing that you ever get a job. If you think about it.
It is. If you think about it, yeah. The odds, they always say the odds are so against you, but I don't know.
There's 100 people going in. They're taking tapes from people across the country in LA. You're going in there. You're too big. You're too short. You're too fat. You're too tall. You look too much like the lead. You're this, you're that. How does anyone ever get a job?
They were casting some movie and they were looking for a Michael Imperioli type. I saw it in the casting thing. And I wasn't being considered.
That's great. I told you that one with the voice. Think Steve Schirripa, The Sopranos. I auditioned for it. I didn't get it. I auditioned for it. A voiceover.
And you didn't get it?
It was an animated thing. Think Steve.
So who got it?
Some other fucking guy. I don't know.
Some guy who sounded more like you than you.
I guess. It's fucking Michael Imperioli.
I got it.
Type. Well,
I got that part. I was in there. I went, I'm a regular guy. They said, you got it. Exactly. That's what we're looking for.
There you go. Not that phony fuck. JT's apartment. Christopher arrives in the middle of the night.
I love this idea now. Christopher, you got to make it right. You got to, this plan. I need you to tell Tony it was your idea because now Christopher's in a panic. Now he probably really realizes how bad it looks.
Yeah.
Now the light is turned on. He's not that stupid. He's stupid, but he's not that stupid to realize, whoa, I really fucked up here. So now you got to tell Tony it was your idea. And he says it was your idea. And Chris says, well, who knows where they come from? Isaac Newton invented gravity, which he didn't invent gravity because some asshole hit him with an apple. I don't even know where to begin to, make sense out of that. And then he says, he takes his award, Humanitas. It's a Humanitas award for social redeeming themes of writing. And he, there's a thing, I guess, with awards here. He had his Emmy award, which he had to Hawk. Now he's got his Humanitas award, which he hits him in the head with.
Christopher hits him right in the head with it. Jesus Christ.
He's not playing here.
Brutal.
He's out of patience.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
You might talk to your agent that way. Don't ever fucking get snippy with me again. The bada bing. Tony, Silvio, and Paulie are at the bar. JT arrives. Silvio's explaining. The scary thing was I didn't know what happened until after the shots were fired. JT comes in. I'm looking for Chris. I'm supposed to meet him. They're already a little leery because they know Chris don't come around there anymore. Paulie's completely, he's saying, so what you think of Cleaver? Not bad. And Paulie's looking for his money right away. I hope we're going to see some money soon. The movie didn't even come out yet. He wants his investment back.
It's not even out yet, yeah. He says, well, Sally Boy was based on Broderick Crawford in the movie Born Yesterday with Julie Holliday and Billie Holden. He says, Billy the singer, no, you might be confused because her name in the movie is Billy, and Tony delivers this line perfectly. I love how Tony delivered it. I'd never seen it. Why would I be confused? You know, he's got this suspicion of outsiders that's just perfect. And he talks about this love triangle, cuckolding love triangle with, the three of them. And Tony, asked him what happened to his head. Well, where'd he get that bruise? He says the cabin. And Tony kind of is not,
No, but he thinks fast, though. He thinks fast, does Tony really believe JT at this point?
No, I don't think so. But he does consider it enough to go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Which the movie...
and Broderick Crawford looks a little like Tony.
He looks a little like Tony, although the character, Harry Brock, was modeled on Columbia studio boss Harry Cohn, Garson Kanin, who was a playwright. This is based on his play and also wrote the screenplay, had a bad relationship with this Harry Cohn. So it's kind of like a similarity. He made this character to kind of in the shadow of this. Judy Holliday won Best Actress Academy Award, beat out Bette Davis and Gloria Swanson, who did All About Eve that year, 1950, won the Oscar for that. And he's in the bathroom, and he's like a blowhard like Tony Soprano, I guess, saying, this belongs to me. Tony's watching it, but I guess in the end, he does not buy it.
You know what I watched the other night was on TCM, Sunset Boulevard. What a great
Fantastic.
Great movie. You haven't, if you're out there, you're too young, you just haven't seen it. Sunset Boulevard is great. Great movie.
It's
I saw
fantastic.
on Broadway, I saw Glenn Close play Norma Desmond a few years ago. She was great, but it's so good. The movie's so good.
Yeah, really fantastic.
Murphy's Office. This is the image of me he leaves to the world. I remember when he was born, I would hold him in my arms.
This is kind of what we see in The Many Saints of Newark.
Yes, it is.
Not to give anything away.
Well, you can give it away. Why not? The movie came out.
He says, like a son. He was like a son to me after his dad died. And all I am to him is this asshole bully. Are you hurt? He said, well, his dad, Dickie, was, for me, like I am to him. A mentor? No, more like, he said the respect and love I thought would be passed down, but he fucking hates me. And he's very sad. He's really emotional about this.
Oh, yeah. Tony
despises me. This guy despises me. Is it possible on some level you're reading into this and she's referring to the movie? She says, I know the subconscious now. He says, I know subconscious now since I've been coming here. I know what's going on. He doesn't believe JT's story. He thinks Christopher hates him, despises him, and it hurts him.
And Murphy,
very interesting scene. Jim's great in the scene.
Yeah, Murphy tells him, you're hurt.
You're hurt. And Jim is really wonderful here. Good scene.
Johnny's hospital room. John lies in bed. Ginny, Allegra, Catherine are there. Johnny's at the end of his line here. He's talking about his mother, which people do.
He says mother is here. I guess he's seeing his...
There's a lot of that. People also say they see the light. They see the white light. There's a lot of that. Ginny is polishing John's shoes. He's got his white loafers. He's calling for his mother. Ginny, just sadness, offers him a cigarette. And Johnny dies. Very good. Vince Coratola does a wonderful job here. Bada bing back room. The crew plays pool. Here comes his brother-in-law, Anthony.
Dante Greco's wearing a Cleaver crew jacket. You see that one? This is great.
That's why I'm here, Tony. John passed away late this morning. He was a great guy. Sorry for the loss. Paulie, once again, selfish. I beat cancer, but it took him out. Right,
Makes it about him.
Pony,
Yeah.
Let the spinning wheels glide, which is blood, sweat, and tears song, and it's the wrong lyrics.
Yeah, he makes it about him.
Most of these guys make everything about them.
That's true.
And Tony, I think, is thinking about his mortality again. You know?
Yeah, he's thinking about his mortality, legacy, I guess. When he says to Melfi, he says, respect and love passed down. There's a thing about legacy here in this episode that we see in a few different places. In this very scene, which we're moving on to at the Averna Social Club in Little Italy, Billy Leotardo, what would be his 47th birthday, he has the urn with his ashes, which he's going to put above the bar across from his favorite place in the world. More than Shea Stadium, he loved to sit at the bar and tell stories about his family, and now he can see his friends forever. I mean, is that a thing?
I want you to do that for me. You know what I want?
Where do you want?
I'm going to tell my wife to give you a little thing of ashes. I want you to put it on your mantle in your apartment.
I don't have a mantle, so I won't do it.
You have a fireplace, don't you?
I don't, no.
Well, you have a piano. I want it on your piano.
I got rid of the piano.
You did?
Yeah.
So in other words, you don't want my ashes in your apartment.
Well, I got no place to put it, Steve.
Well, you could put it in the bathroom, in the medicine cabinet.
I got a very small bathroom.
See, if you asked me, I would do that. You still have, we're going to talk about it later on, but we're going to have to, I want to, narrow down the Steve Schirripa motherfucks the world situation. So,
yeah, we'll narrow that down.
Let's not forget that. Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of it. I have heard people taking someone's ashes and going bar to bar with them.
Oh yeah, that I've heard.
Their drink. I've had that. I've heard that.
Yeah.
We go bar to bar, the old haunts, and it's a little different. Did
you ever have to dispose of ashes? I did a couple of times.
Oh yeah, no.
With friends in the ocean.
Oh, that's nice. No, I've never done that. But that's okay. I want mine sprinkled a few places here, a few places there. I don't want it on the bar there. What happens then? It's a big, Billy wasn't that big a guy. That's a big urn.
It's a big urn, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Billy, played by the great Chris Caldovino.
This is a really funny speech. I find it really, really funny. He brings he's talking to his grandkids, which should be kind of a touching, heartfelt speech about his late brother, and it turns into this bitter rant about the authorities in Ellis Island renaming the family name. The original name was Leonardo. He says, was it about who knows who Leonardo da Vinci was? He wrote the Da Vinci Code, and Phil's wife, it's a hideous, sacrilegious book. I'd like to see a storyline with her somewhere. It might have been really funny.
Insane person.
She's a psycho. She plays it really well. He says the original name was Leonardo. David Chase said Leotardo is not a real Italian-American name. He thought it would be really funny to name, David came up with this name and thought that it would be really funny to name him Leotardo because it's not a real name. And he says in Ellis Island, they changed it to Leotardo. He said, why? Because they're stupid and they're jealous. They disrespected a proud Italian heritage and named us after a ballet costume. Why he's even going into this, it's just, she said it's leotards are for modern, not for ballet, where they have tutus. And
These
we see Phil at
young
the bar.
Kids.
It's funny, funny. And then he's at the bar a little later. Butch says, are you okay? He says, I did 20 years in jail. For what? For the likes of Rusty and Doc Santoro. And he said, you were a man. And he said, this Tony B thing, my weakness. What did I do about it? Fucking nothing. Like Leotardo, it's my fucking legacy.
It's a great scene. Frank Vincent
Really
is
good.
great in this.
Really, really
And
good.
that's it. No more Butchie. No more of this. No more bullshit. He's going after Tony Soprano. And
That's what he's saying. And he cuts to, we hear this very foreboding, kind of disturbing music that's evidently Chicken Town by John Cooper Clarke. Talking about bloody.
Perfect, though. It's disturbing.
Very.
I was
with a
listening to
scene
it yesterday. When you listen to it, it's very disturbing. But with as a background of these scenes, it works.
a scene that really shouldn't be disturbing. It's a joyous occasion, right? It should be on paper at least.
Now, remember that we shot that in Queens, I think.
Long Island City, St. Rita's Catholic Church in
And
Queens.
Fat
Long Island
Joe
City.
came to the set. Fat Joe was a good man. He came to the set.
The rapper, yeah.
There's a great picture with me, you, Fat Joe, I think, and Jim.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. Good guy. Good man.
So the christening of Caitlin, it becomes a very foreboding and disturbing, foreshadowing the end. Bloody this, bloody that in the song. Christopher and Tony look at each other and they hug.
They hug a little
smile.
too hard. A little too hard.
And you see two different angles of both of their eyes, and you see there's a lot more tension, a lot more going on.
Something's brewing. The worst is yet to come. Great.
Really good episode.
Okay, now it's time for the Talking Sopranos Ask Me Anything segment. The winner of our AMA Best Question is Tom from Island Lake, Illinois. And we're sending Tom a pair of Bose headphones.
Tom asks, what do you think Christopher and Bobby would be doing if they never got killed? They wouldn't be doing a podcast. That's for sure.
They'd rather get killed than do a podcast. I think Bobby, by now, might have been sick of Janice's shit. Maybe. Or maybe...
New wife?
Maybe just stayed with her. They're in the big house. Bobby moved up the ladder. Tony, as far as I'm concerned, is alive and well. The family's much smaller. Bobby, a lot less people around. Right? A lot less people. Silvio's in a coma. A lot of guys got killed. Christopher would be above Bobby, I would assume. But
Christopher would be. I don't have a lot of hope.
You think Christopher would have died of a drug overdose?
I think he was a fucking mess. The guy was a mess.
You don't think he ever got his shit together?
I don't think so. I think he was doomed. I think he might have been sent away by Tony eventually. If Tony didn't kill him, maybe send him down to Florida or some, gave him a bar or a restaurant. I don't know, man. He just seemed like a man. He probably would be addicted to like OxyContin or some shit, living in, Fort Lauderdale area, running some kind of bar.
Sounds so bleak.
I think it's bleak.
I think Bobby lost 100 pounds. He got a Gumata. He's making money hand over fist. Kids are okay. His oldest son moved out as soon as he could, went to college, became a lawyer. Wanted to
Bobby
get away
lost
from
100
Janice.
pounds, is now like a fitness guy, fitness nut.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he rides mountain bikes. Ran 4 New Jersey marathons.
Well, he's an outdoorsman. We know that. And he also is a guy who, kind of liked the simple life. He wasn't really a social climber was very materialistic. Not really.
Honestly, I think Bobby, if he didn't get killed, he would be married to Janice. They got the big house, still chugging along, eating in the city, still going to Vesuvio, same restaurants. These guys don't do much. They stay in a 5-mile area, making his collections. Hopefully he never went to jail, making money. And they just move along. His kids, grandkids, and that's how it works. Try to stay out of jail and try not to die. They don't expand. They get a second place in Florida. He's got his place upstate New York. And that's
he liked
it.
that place upstate. He liked the outdoors, fishing, hunting.
I think, just live and well and just living his life. There's nothing exotic happened,
Yeah, I think Christopher would have had a hard time with it. I think his marriage would have lasted. I don't think he would have shown up to be a dad as much as he really wanted to. I think his demons were just too big, you know. I think he just didn't have he did not have the wherewithal, you know. He didn't have the karma to kind of rise above that ship.
Tony, I think at some point, I don't know if, I guess he would send them away, but far, far away, maybe Italy, like get out of the country. Could always snitch, you send Christopher to Florida in a bar, he gets caught with the Oxycontin, he's a junkie. Chances are he's going to spill some secrets, especially the further away he's from Tony, and the guys.
Maybe. You might be right, my friend.
Well,
yeah, he was a sad. I think the end of the line was sad for him, no matter which way it went.
And Bobby is thriving, in my opinion. Maybe if he's lucky, Janice divorced him and went with Paulie Walnuts, and Bobby's single.
I don't think Paulie Walnuts.
Janice, get over here now. What did I say? Tom from Island Lake, Illinois, enjoy your headphones. Thanks for listening. Remember, new episodes are released every Monday. Please subscribe to the Talking Sopranos podcast on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like us on Facebook. And right now, you can get official Talking Sopranos merchandise on TalkingSopranos.com or through our YouTube channel.
Our executive producer is Jeff Sussman, producers Andy Verderama. Our music was composed and performed by Elijah Hamilton. You can hear more of Elijah's music and the band Zopa, which Elijah and I playing together by clicking the links on TalkingSopranos.com. Our production crew includes Ty Verderama, Ciara Schirripa. Talking Sopranos is a Podjams production.
Great episode.
Really good episode. Clock is ticking, my friend. See you later.
You too.